Ha! Yeah, get my camera straight. Get my act straight. Actually, I should probably move this up. Not down. Okay. All right, everybody. Coffee's up. Welcome to my shop. And it's about 10 o'clock in the morning here, a.m. in the Midwest Central Time. Okay, and I got my Mustang Cup. I don't know if any of you guys know who Kenny Wallace is. Kenny Wallace, the race car driver. It's a brother, younger brother of Rusty Wallace, the famous number 2 car from Penske Racing. He's on YouTube and Facebook a lot. He cracks me up. I think he spends half his life on Facebook. I might turn into him. I think sometimes I'm like that, except I'm on YouTube. He's on Facebook every day. He's in Sturgis today. We go back and forth sometimes. He actually answers. Okay, so I've met him in person a couple of times, him and his wife. And they're good people. In fact, their family is great. I belonged to Rusty's fan club for years. And so we'd go to Charlotte once a year and we'd all meet up in the skybox up there. And this is back in the day when Charlotte Motor Speedway used to be, what do you call it? Lowe's Motor Speedway. And the Lowe's guys are right next to us. And the Lowe's people couldn't have any alcohol in there. We did. We had food, alcohol, and all kinds of stuff. All they had was food, which I thought was kind of a bummer. That was kind of funny. I used to sit at one end next to the glass dome, and there was a partition in there between us and them. That was a glass dome. You had to go around the other side to go out and go back in the other side to get in. But anyway, we'd all be hanging up or holding up our beers, our drinks, our beverages, and our food, and they just they were getting ripped off on that side. But it's no longer Lowe's; it's Charlotte, I believe. But a good place. Actually, it's a fun place, a fun track if you're into NASCAR to watch. Since Rusty left, I haven't kept up with it all as much. It's turned into a soap opera, kind of like this. Anyway, what I wanted to do was I wanted to show you what I'm doing before I get started. Tell you something about the tree species. Now, I went to college on trees. I went to forestry. I worked for the Forest Service for a number of years, and I had a great time when I was on a fire crew. But one thing I learned too, besides going to college and learning trees, the trees are resilient. But here's the problem: at least in where I worked, nobody's replanting trees. So without trees, you can't get stuff like this, right? Now I salvage wood. I salvage wood. Good morning, Mary Pat. Welcome, my number 1 fan. I got to figure out a way to turn the fan thing on. I don't know how that works. I need somebody to help me with my YouTube channel, Mary Pat. You got time? Anyway, what I wanted to talk about is how I turn this. Now, what I did is I took the bark off and I put some anchor seal on here. This is what they call anchor seal. Now, this is stuff you want to put on your wood when you first get it so it doesn't crack. So I turned it enough to get the bark off of it. I've got a bunch more. It's butternut. So I think it is. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think the people knew what they are, and I couldn't tell right off the bat. Anyway, this is to keep it from splitting. Now, other guys use other things, and I use anchor seal. I got a bunch down here on the floor, so hopefully it'll turn out. And if I run out, I know where to get more. Now I have 2 bowls I showed you, I posted, and I'll bring them down before I pack them away. They're both done. One's out of maple and the other one's Osage. I love Osage. Osage, the one that puts out that yellow stuff, yellow oranges, dust. Anyway, there's a little. It's the color content and the grain in that is absolutely amazing. And the reason I use it and I don't butter it up is because I like to show the grain of Mother Nature. So, and my coffee. Oh, I'd love to have a piece of coffee tree. I know where I can get some, but I'm not going to get it right now. When I go to Hawaii, I'll do that. Okay, so I'm going to put this over here. Now, normally what I do is I pick out a tool. Well, first off, I pick out a piece of wood and I say, okay, what kind of grain what am I looking at? Now, a lot of people don't like the idea of going with the pith, which is the center of the tree or the cambium layer. And I don't like, I just call it the cambium layer. Everybody gets too anal about that or uptight about it. But what I'll do is I'll go, okay, which side are we going to turn? Which is going to be the front or the top? Which is going to be the bottom? All right. They can see the grain in here. I don't know. You guys, it'd be hard for you guys to see, but the grain in this is kind of like what I had in the Osage. You get some right here. But here's the thing. When I go to turn this, it's a lot of this will go away a little bit. So I don't know what, I've never turned butternut. I don't know what it's going to look like. So there's always keep in mind you might change your how you're going to do your bowl when you start carving it and you see you don't like it, you just change it. There's enough wood here, I could probably do a lot of different things. What I thought about doing with a bowl like this wouldn't even be a bowl, it would be basically a box. And I would take and in this case, carve this to a certain point, cut the top off before I gouge the inside, before I hollow it out. Now, I picked out which is going to be the bottom, which is going to be the top. And this is the bottom and this is the top. Okay, so that makes a difference. Now I have it on the spindle. I'm not using I forget the name of that. Okay, so I have it on this. Wait a minute. Yeah, no, wrong wheel. Things are coming off. I have it on this. This is my old one. I have a backup for backup. It goes in there, right? Oops. Goes in there. That's what is it's used for a hole. You can use it for a punch too, a center punch. But a lot of times I'll use this. Now you don't ever want to use this on the side that's the bottom. Would be kind of funny if you carved this out and you had holes in the bottom. So if you're going to put this on, you would take that piece off, this punch. You pull this out of the shaft and you put this in, you center it. And this acts like a chuck, actually. So when you usually buy a lathe, it comes with this. This lathe came with this, and it came with this. All right. The thing it doesn't come with is the regular chuck. Like a Barracuda 2 or a Nova chuck, you have to spend money on that. That's a couple $100. It doesn't come with tools either. So when you go to shop for a lathe, it's going to be expensive. Your tools will cost you more. Then I guarantee you the tools will cost you more than a lathe. I've got probably $1,000 worth of tools. This thing, it was free, but it's like a $500 lathe back in 2015. So. And why am I not using this? Well, I thought I'd do it a different way. See, it's actually better to use this sometimes because it keeps it straight. You're not wobbling all over the place, but I kind of like doing it this way. Plus, it's a little bit different on this backside. See, I'll show you guys. I can't explain it. If you were to do this, you got the bump, so it's not going to sit on there, right? If I was using it. This one here, same thing. So you just basically would center this like that. But you have to look at it too on the sides. Now, when it was cut, it wasn't cut straight, so it may wobble a little bit. That's how that goes. All right. So I thought about it, and you can see the grain, right? So I'm just going to do it this way instead. I don't know. I keep changing my mind on stuff, so. Now I'm going to turn this in a little bit more. And then proceed with that. Now, the only problem with this thing is it's old, cranky, and it likes to slide. So the adjuster here. Okay, so I'll tell you, I don't get the. I have my own language for terminology. So there you go. This is the tool rest, obviously, right here. So you can't see it, but okay. So what tool am I going to use on this? Now, a lot of guys like to use a bowl gouge, a regular bowl gouge, which is where is that thing? This. But I think I got a left-handed one because you go like this. See, you can flip sides. There's this side and this side. You got to be really careful though because it can grab and go like this. Me and this thing don't get along. It's sharp, but I'm just not into it, and it leaves grooves. Now, a lot of my friends say, "Well, you don't get if you sharp, it won't leave grooves." Oh yeah, right. Okay, whatever. I've been in people's shops that said that, and it's the opposite. So it's kind of like the laser cutter guys, the CNC router guys. They always say, "Oh, that's woodworking." No, it's not. They can do it a lot faster, but so why cheat? All right, you gotta have to excuse my tools are a mess right now. I've got my carbide tip. Right, this thing is really kind of cool because you see how it's shaped, right? All right, that metal tip you can replace. It's got a screw on the end of it. You can take this thing off and change it too. You can move it around so you can actually get a lot of life out of this. I like using this because I can change the tip and I don't have to worry about sharpening. When I'm sharpening, I have to sharpen these things. This one's kind of, I need to work on that a little bit. My sharpening skills are kind of terrible. Yeah, speaking of sharpening. Okay, so I'm restoring one of my fire axes. I gotta show you this. Okay. This is a 1970s fire axe. All right. I got this when I worked for the Forest Service. They were gonna junk it. And it usually is out about further, right? But this had more of a point to it. That's the reason why I got junk it. So I kept it. I'm going, I can work on this. The problem is when you're on a fire line or you're out in the field, you gotta sit with your legs crossed with this in between your legs and sharpen. I forget. I think it goes like this, and you go like this, and you got to make a deal right here. I've been working on this, trying to restore this a bit. I took this home because they're going to throw it out. And I mean, it's kind of it's digging ditch for digging ditches for pipes. I used to do a lot of drip irrigation stuff, and I use this for that. But unfortunately, the grubbing end's a little bit, it's going to take me a little bit of time. But usually, you want that thing about 1/8 of an inch thick. Widthwise, it's sharpening the cutting end. Same thing with this. This has got you kind of like a V in there, both sides. You can see where it's kind of been beat up a little bit, but I used to take things like this and be able to cut. I sharpened it so much I could cut a piece of paper with it. When I was on a hand crew, this is what I used most of the time. Grubbing in. I didn't use it that much unless there was a lot of roots. But I'm restoring that. Yeah, I'm going to take and paint it. And I'm going to make a plaque a plaque and put that in the train room, and then that'll be dedication to my friends that are still doing it. So anyway, I'm gonna get this a little bit closer. I like to have this as close as I can. Sometimes it's kind of weird you can't do it because you got oddball shape on it. So this is about a quarter of an inch away from here. Good working. And two things. Now I don't know what this is going to be like as far as what kind of material sawdust it's going to put out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wear a mask. A lot of times I don't wear a mask unless it's really like Osage. I'll wear a mask, and then what is it? Purple Heart. You'll knock yourself out if you're even when you're turning it. It's not so much sanding; it's when you're turning. You'll knock yourself out. It's not good for you. So I'm going to grab my mask. Oh, wait a minute. I gotta. Again, I tell you, I got a Mustang. Nothing like good Kona coffee. All right. Get the show on the road. Okay, so one thing I'll tell you is my biggest problem is HDAD. It's patience. Patience. I'm getting better at it. I've always been that way. But you have to be with this. I've done some bowls where I wasn't patient enough. I thought I got it all. I go to put wipe on poly or something on it, and I see, oh, a mistake. But it's wood. It's imperfect. There's things that crop up that they're out of control too. Mother Nature, splits and splitzoid. I don't know, weird just imperfections in the wood. That's the other thing you gotta look for. Knots, imperfections. There's a knot there. Doesn't look like we'll have a problem here. Koa wood lately, and I had some of that where the koa wood was it had a lot of punkiness to it, and when you get into it and you try to work with it, it could disintegrate on you. You got to be really careful with it. Koa's, I don't know if I would consider it a hard wood. For some reason, every time I get a piece, it seems like it's awful soft. I mean, on the other spectrum, Osage and oak, red and white oak, are hard. And that plays into what you're going to do as far as how you're going to carve it, what do you want it to do with it, and then just in the staining and sealing. And this is where part of me gets kind of like, I like natural. I don't like to stain anything if I don't have to, unless it's a piece of furniture, okay? And part of it is because I like to show Mother Nature's gift. So let's see what we got here. Oh, this has good color content to it. Okay, you see it wobbling. If you hear it wobbling, right? You can hear it chattering. Well, that's not a big deal because that's normal. And what I'll do is I'll end up taking and shaving it down to a certain point to where it doesn't wobble anymore. Um, More than likely, I'm going to start carving this. Now, the idea with this is I want a bowl. It's like this. It's a little bit kind of narrow for me to make, like what I did um, with my maple. You need wide. It was a salad bowl. This is probably about 8, 10 inches across, something like that. Not, it's not very big. So, and that's the other thing you got to consider. Usually, when I'm doing stuff like this, I take and draw a circle on the outside, and I got an idea. No, this is the bottom. I wouldn't be. It would be in the side that I gouge out. But since I had the anchor seal on here and everything, I was just prepping it. Now, if you feel like when you're turning it, it's got moisture in it, like this one still feels wet, what you should do is take your moisture meter out and check it out. I don't know. I'm gonna try and do a core here like everybody else does. I might have to reseal it again. That's the one thing that's crucial about raw wood when you get it. You want to make sure that it's sealed. You know, and I guess there's a list. I don't have it of types of wood where it tells you how long you should let it set, what you got to do to prep it and let it set. This one's still kind of wet. I can feel it. It's cold, and it's been cut and drying in here for months. I think I got this in April, so you would think it would be ready, right? I've had wood that I've had to wait for a year. I have a kiln. I could put it in a kiln. If I'm really concerned about it, what I would do is put it in a kiln and see, and just let it set for a couple hours, on and off, on and off. It doesn't do a lot of. I don't put a lot of heat in it. It's just a heat lamp, something you would see at a grocery store that keeps the chicken, whatever in the food case um, um, warm. So um, that's kind of what I do here. I wanted to show you guys before I started because I don't know if I'm going to turn this yet or not. Um, I may have to. And I want to turn it, but I'm afraid it's gonna split. It's just wood, right? It's just wood. But anyway, that's kind of how I operate. Everybody else is different. If you really want to see an expert, Cindy Druzda is another one. Kelly Dunn is another one. I've been to Kelly Dunn's place in Hawaii, in Hawaii, in Hawaii. He's got really good stuff. He's got turning techniques that are awesome. But here's the thing. The only problem I have with these guys, they have a slew of tools I don't have. And they're old tools and they're from foreign lands. And I mean, there are gouging tools that I can't even imagine how many he's got, different ones. But it's okay because it gives you an idea. Some of the guys have got tools that are like 2 foot long that go in there. That's why I belong to a club. If you're in the Foxville area or the Northern Illinois area, I belong to Windy City Turners, Mark, president. I mean, they're all great guys, Rich and Rich, and Paul and Marie and Bruce. They're all, I mean, fantastic bunch of guys. They're not a very big club. It used to be, but COVID did a lot of people in, and plus a lot of older guys don't turn anymore because of arthritis or not. But you got to check it out. They're on YouTube, Windy City Turners. They do a lot of pin symposiums and woodworking turning symposiums. They'll put it on there, and you might see me on occasion because I'm in there. Like I don't need to. Anyway, I'm gonna get off and do something. I gotta go finish my breaks, and I might turn this afternoon. So if anybody's interested tonight, maybe I don't know. Um, we'll see. Anyway, thanks for watching the Dutchman's Wood Shack, and if anybody's interested in turning, WRMN, I gotta say WRMN and Elgin, Sonar, the crew in the morning, Susie C, Elliot. Big Top Sports, Derek. I keep saying racing, Derek. I keep trying to talk to him. He needs racing. I can give him all the info. I'm the racing guy. But anyway, Sonar, which is Dennis Green. I can't thank you guys enough for plugging this. I have a good time showing people. I'd like to get more kids interested in this, or you guys on WRMN. You're always welcome in my shop. Okay, so everybody that's here today watching me is welcome in my shop, whether it's online or. And I like making sawdust, because you're right here is my own little. I have my own little town, and it's called Dustville, USA. Dustmiteville, excuse me, Dustmiteville, USA, 00000. So anyway, I'm gonna get off. Let you guys go. Have a great day. And today is Thursday. So pick up a beverage of your choice and drink on, party on. God bless America, God bless the Mustang, and God bless making sawdust. Remember, if you're not making anything you're not being creative, get with the program and make sawdust. Sawdust.